Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Your choices. Your actions. That's what makes you who you are.
I like that. I like that.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Hello and welcome everyone to the new episode discussing all things geekdom called I Like That Too. You may recognize our voices from such podcasts as Positively Star Wars Senate. So welcome to our spin-off special. Teaming up with me for this table will be Ricky.
Hello.
And my name is Ryan. So you may be asking yourself, what topic can be more powerful than a locomotive, faster than a speeding bullet, and able to leap tall buildings in a single bound? That would be the brand new movie Superman, just releasing this week in theaters. And shockingly, both me and Ricky were able to see it at the same time, so we thought it'd be a perfect chance to sit down and discuss a brand new superhero movie, which I am a huge fan of superhero movies. So welcome everyone, and hopefully you enjoy our randomness of a Superman movie discussion.
Yeah, that almost never happens because I don't go to the movies very often, but I've gone like 5 times this year so far. So.
Yeah, that's why I was like really excited when you're like, I thought you were going to wait 1 week so there's less crowds, so then I'd forget everything. But
No, I don't want any spoilers for this
the
one.
kid to it too. I took the kid to it, and because I was like, all right, you're staying with us this weekend. And I took one of the kids, so.
Cool.
But yeah, it had to show them, and then I was shocked that you saw it, and I was like, okay, well, we got to discuss it then because it's superhero movies.
Yeah, no, I've been, Superman was like one of my earliest memories watching movie, from as a kid, besides Empire Strikes Back. But like, yeah, I remember being a kid, like, I think we went to go see The Karate Kid in the drive-in when it was brand new. And I remember just like, I was crying at the end. I was little. I was a little kid, so I was like, I kept telling everybody, no, they're going to show Superman next, Yeah, they would show like a movie after movie at the drive-in. But then they didn't, so I was like an idiot. But but yeah, no, I used to love the Christopher Reeve movie. I still watch them. I own them all. I have like the Richard Donner cut for part 2, and then I have the special edition for director's cut for part 1. Yeah, so I when me and my daughter, like, we watched them before when she was littler, but we wanted to revisit them, because we kept seeing the trailers and stuff, and for the new movie, I'm like, and I did end up showing her. Much to her chagrin, like the Snyder movies, she was not interested. She's a Marvel person, so she was like totally against watching Aquaman or any of those ones, or the Justice League. Yeah, so we find she really hates DC. But like, she came around to it a little bit. She liked Wonder Woman, and she liked she didn't care for Ben Affleck as Batman. But yeah, she likes the Nolan movies. Those are her favorite. The Nolan ones are her. She likes those. So.
I loved Affleck as Batman. I thought he was like a fantastic choice.
I thought
for like the gritty older Batman, I thought he was perfect.
I thought he'd be good, but I don't like the direction they did in the writing. Like they kind of sidelined him. In the movies. Yeah,
I understand. I thought he was a great pick, but they didn't do enough. They didn't do the right things with him, and. The whole story, we don't want to get into the whole Snyderverse, where there is some things, some things that I enjoyed. It got too crazy and the fandom got ridiculous, and it's just like... Yeah,
so we watched all those, and then, like, I was like, well, let's, when summer started, she got off school, I'm like, let's start watching all the old, Superman movies, So we ended up watching the original, we watched the director's cut of the first one, and then we watched the normal one of the second one of part 2. And then we haven't watched Supergirl or 3 or 4. I've never seen Superman 3 with the Richard Pryor one or Quest for Peace before. I've seen parts of them, but no.
If you watched it, because that one's terrible. So.
Yeah, I've never watched them, and neither has my daughter. And we end up skipping those and ended up watching Superman Returns, which she didn't remember. We watched it when she was little, but she didn't remember. And that one's supposed to serve as a sequel to part 2 of Superman anyway. So, and that one, I loved that movie. That one I went to go see at midnight when that came out. So, but yeah, so we were just
What about
in a Superman kick.
what about Smallville? You ever watched Smallville?
No, I hated Smallville because
Really?
they had
I watched it all
they
the
had the
time
no
when it was
tights, no flights rule on that show, according to the directors and creators. So they were never going to put him in the suit, and they were never going to have him fly. So, and then I don't know. So I might go back and revisit it, but I've seen a lot of them. I used to kind of watch it casually, but you know,
That was okay with me because it was before he was Superman, so it wouldn't make sense for him to have a cape.
Lex
and
Luthor
fight
was his
for
best
that.
friend.
Yeah, I love that dynamic. Friends to enemies. I love that dynamic.
I did like that they brought Lana in because Lana is in Superman 3, I think. Like I said, I've seen parts of these movies, but like not sat down.
Obviously, it got a little crazy with like, oh, I know all the Justice League people and all. He's meeting the Flash and Aquaman, but they had to make a show out of it. But
yeah,
just the fact that Lex and Superman were friends, Clark were friends, I thought that was a great dynamic, and it was just him exploring his powers and like trying to help people, and then and then it was Lex's dad that was screwing him over. So it's like I watched Smallville pretty much all the way through. So.
The one that played Clark's mom was Lana in part 3 of Superman.
Yeah, that is true. I do remember that.
I did like the guy that played Lex in that show, but yeah, I've seen a lot of it. But
Michael Rosenbaum. Like, I don't know why that sticks out. I can barely remember my own birthday, but for some reason, it's like, who's Lex from Smallville? It's like Michael Rosenbaum.
He always plays a jerk. That guy.
Yeah, I thought he was a really good one too. He was a great pick.
So yeah, so we were just trying to gear up, for the movie. So like, yeah, of course it came out. We're like, yeah, let's go watch it before I get any spoilers, because I know you were avoiding everything, right?
Oh, dude, yeah. I only watched the first trailer, and then I skipped like literally everything else. Even there was a trailer in Jurassic World, and I put my head down and started reading my phone during the trailer just to see. I didn't want to see anything, and that's what I'm doing with Fantastic Four also.
Oh yeah, I've kind of stopped with that.
Yeah, I only watch because I'm going to watch superhero movies. I went to the theater for Morbius. I went to the theater for Madam Web. Bloodshot was the last movie I saw before the world shut down for COVID. Like, I watch superhero movies in theaters, regardless of how crappy they are.
I thought you didn't like Jared Leto and you watched Morbius.
Because I felt like I had to watch a superhero movie.
I haven't seen Craven yet.
I haven't seen that one. And what's important in this world is what the kids think. So, and my kid loved it and said it's one of the best Spider-Man movies. And he's watched all the Spider-Mans. Like, he knows Tobey, he knows Maguire, or he knows Tobey Maguire, he knows Andrew whatever the other one is. Jackson? No, not Andrew Jackson.
Garfield.
So, him. Yeah, Garfield, that's what it is. Garfield, and the new one, he follows all them. I took him to the theater for the animated Spider-Man movies by Sony, and he's watched Morbius and that stuff, but he watched Craven, and he's like, I loved it. And honestly, I think that's the best of the Sony movies. Obviously, I don't include Marvel because Marvel blows him away, but I'm also a big fan of that actor. He was Quicksilver.
Oh yeah,
he was. Yeah, he was in Godzilla. He was Kick-Ass. He was in the movie Kick-Ass.
He was Kick-Ass. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I love Kick-Ass. So
I used to read that book before the movie came out. I never saw
really?
part 2. Yeah, I was a fan of the movie, and then I was a fan of the book, and then the movie came out. I was like, yeah. It was like,
movie still makes me tear up with. I won't say it in case people don't want to be spoiled, but with a certain death of a character when another character.
I gotta rewatch it again. I have the whole first run of the series in the books, so I'm gonna probably try to rewatch that and reread the book. I didn't watch part 2, so.
I have a Nicolas Cage and it was ridiculous, but but anyway, so when it comes to Craven, my kid loves it, and I think it could have had a bigger and longer final fight, but people were picking on it just because it's not exactly like the comic, and he has weird voodoo blood of a lion, whatever it is.
I know next to nothing about Craven. So.
Yeah, and people just gave up on it right there. And it's like, I feel bad because I like that actor. He looked really good. It was just a good kind of story overall with a little bit of twist. For a Sony movie, I want to be clear about that. For a Sony movie, a live action movie, because their animated stuff is amazing. For a live action Sony movie, it was good. Spider-Verse and K-pop Demon Hunters.
I'm almost done. We have like 35 minutes to watch. We were watching it last night. We came back from watching Superman and making dinner. I was like, my daughter really wanted us to watch it, and I told her that you were listening to the soundtrack. She's like, you got to watch it so you don't get spoilers. I'm like, okay. So we were watching it last night. It was really good. So we have like maybe 35 minutes left. So 40 minutes.
Yeah. So we are like way off the rails here. So back to Superman, I guess. So overall, with this movie, what's big about it is obviously the big story behind it is James Gunn, who's able to make an obscure group of nobodies, such as the Guardians of the Galaxy. And he rescued the Suicide Squad franchise after like 2 relatively failed attempts. He was able to do it, and he like made it successful. He made Peacemaker into somebody with John Cena, made it a fantastic HBO Max show. It was great. It's raunchy, but it's funny. And I'm obviously a wrestling fan, so John Cena was funny. So the big news is he was pretty much Marvel laid him off for a bit for some things he did in the past. And DC jumped in and scooped him right up, man. And now James Gunn is running the entire, thankfully rebooted DC universe.
It needed it.
And it really did. It was totally off the rails. So I'm excited for the story it's going to tell. But first and foremost, I must say it felt too much like a James Gunn movie. And that's obvious because it's by James Gunn, but it had, Guardians of the Galaxy can be weird, ridiculous, and Peacemaker will be funny, but like, there were some things I just didn't like about the movie. I'll start by saying I give it an 8 out of 10. So, maybe 7.8 out of 10, maybe not an 8, but like a very, very high 7 out of 10. So when I say some things that are kind of negative about a movie, obviously the overall enjoyment is I'm happy for this movie. First and foremost, I think the actor did good. It's going to take some getting used to because everybody loves Henry Cavill as Superman. Whoop-de-doo, but the world moves forward. Just like Hugh Jackman cannot be Wolverine forever, the world must move on, and you cannot hold that against the movies for the world moving forward because James Gunn said, like, this is a new Superman. Like, I have to start my own thing. I can't continue it. He says he loves Henry Cavill, but he's like, I gotta get my own. And I won't start off on too many negative stuff because I do have some things that I do have things that annoyed me with the movie. But
yeah, I had a couple of
the biggest thing that I loved is that it felt, like I said, it felt like a James Gunn movie where the negative points. But the positive points is James Gunn made this feel like a Superman movie, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, I have some gripes too. And speaking of the James Gunn type movies, like Suicide Squad was okay. Like I wasn't a big fan of I hated the first one, but like the second one was okay. I'm like I never watched the John Cena show because I'm like, it's just John Cena being crude like he always is. And I mean, everybody praised it, but I'm like, it's not really my thing. I don't need it.
It had a deep story to it where, Peacemaker kind of, had some good character moments, and he's actually a very complicated character. So James, like I said, he made Guardians of the Galaxy good, and Guardians of the Galaxy 3 literally brought tears to my eyes. And I'm excited for the entire DCU. Obviously, he wanted to kick off Superman, and the rest will kind of be up to other people, but he's still creative director of everything.
Can you guess what my main gripe was of this movie?
Was it Peacemaker appearing in it?
No. The language.
It wasn't as bad. I will say it wasn't as bad as the other movie.
If it's a Superman movie, you're going to take your little kid, especially, the way it looked, and like how many S words and,
Well, and usually me, I pay attention to that because Marvel has been getting totally out of hand. Like, I think I counted 11 S-bombs at the latest movie, and even Guardians of the Galaxy, they dropped like an F word and a ton of S.
Unnecessary.
And Superman, maybe had Yeah, it really isn't. 100% it is not. So I think it had less than normal,
Yeah.
but that normal is still more than what we are used to. Maybe it's just a part of the times, but
And
I
then
think it
yeah,
only said the S word twice, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong.
no, it was like 6 or
You think it's
7
more?
times. Yeah, they like
I feel like it's
once
becoming,
every scene somebody said it. Like that was that much. Like yeah, anytime Lois was on screen, she said it. Anytime Jimmy was on there,
yeah, okay,
Superman
I might
even
have missed it.
cussed one time.
Well, I like that he was still kind of
Oh yeah,
like,
remember because they were like
hey
the
now.
super dish thing. Remember?
Oh yeah, he did say hashtag super dishes. So, but he was mad at that point. So,
Yeah.
okay, there is some that definitely slipped by me. I definitely agree that it's like
And
the
this is coming from somebody
chips
that like I grew up.
is the new damn, and I
Yeah,
don't like that.
I grew up
So
listening to like gangster rap and stuff. Like I'm a huge hip hop person, so like I have no problem with like swearing, but
I
like
agree. It's
when it
not a
comes to
religious
like
thing. Yeah.
stuff aimed at like kids, like I hate when I see like little kids like repeating stuff. Like it just sounds dumb. So like that's just a personal thing. But like yeah, I don't think they should do that in like a superhero movie, especially like a
Yeah.
Superman's supposed to be inspiring. But like yeah, I don't know.
I just
It's a weird thing. I don't know why adults like
like you
to
said,
adult up.
I just feel like it's unnecessary.
Yeah, it
While
didn't need it.
strong language can make things more powerful
Yeah.
and give it more feeling,
Yeah.
sometimes it just feels like, well, that wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
Like you're just saying it because you can't think of a different word.
Yeah, yeah. Like I
So
liked when he was saying like golly and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, that's classic.
yeah, yeah. When he was like, "What the hey now,"
Yeah,
when he was yelling at his dog. So I'd like to start like one of my favorite scenes I thought was really powerful. It was early in the movie, and it was during the hashtag super or whatever. I must give James Gunn credit because, well, okay, I'll give him to. I'll get to that scene in a minute. The super. So I love the fact that we're now in an era that we no longer need origin stories.
I kind of
The movie started off. Now we know it. We all know it. Your kid knows it. My kid knows it. My 4-year-old
I
niece
wanted like
knows
a
it.
definitive like. I want one movie that shows like where he doesn't have to spend the whole like hour on it. Like just like kind of like go over it real quick and like just show. I don't know. Like the beginning part when it does the whole 330 years ago or 3 centuries ago, then it did like the
3 centuries ago.
I thought that was clever.
I thought that was.
they did it clever. They did it in a clever way.
Yeah, I must say it's interesting that it started off saying 3 centuries ago the metahumans arrived at the world, which I thought was interesting. Like,
And I was waiting for it to
what's
say
the
gods and
deal with the
monsters, and it did.
threes? Yeah, like what's the deal with the threes? Like, why that?
Yeah.
And why pick 300 years ago? Like, I don't know what happened in the 1700s, where I guess superheroes
Is that like Shazam
kind of started
time?
to explode. No, that's the single odds. It's like the single numbers, like Shazam's. Those are wizards and gods type of things and Egyptians.
I just
so,
saw Black Adam. That's why
Black Adam.
I was trying to think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really have a problem with Black Adam.
It
So
was okay. I was against watching it, and then my wife was like, "We gotta watch it," and so we watched it. I'm like, "Oh, it's not too bad. I enjoyed it."
yeah, it was okay. But so I got to say, the way it started was good. Whereas 3 centuries, 300 years, 30 years ago, he arrives. So that states he's 30 years old.
Yeah.
Then, like 3 hours ago or 3 minutes ago, he loses. What is it? 3 months ago, he starts dating Lois Lane.
Yeah.
Like 3 minutes ago, he loses his first battle,
Yeah.
and then he crashes into there. So
Which
I thought that was a good way to start it.
Yeah, I know you said you avoided everything. I watched that whole beginning of the movie on YouTube. Like
Really?
Yeah, they released like the first. They didn't show the 333 thing, but it was like him like laying in the snow and then whistling for the dog, and the whole scene with the dog, and then dragging him back, and then the robots like hooking him up to the thing and talking, and she's like, "Oh, he looked at me," and that whole thing, and then putting the yellow sun and all that stuff. That they showed that whole thing that was released. Yeah.
I dropped like all. I think I've seen the dog running at him, and then I laughed, and I was like, "No, I got to stop watching because I want this to be in the theater." So, and we'll get to the dog later. I want to get to the dog later. So to jump on my point that I was originally making is that I think it's one of the strongest parts in the movie it was just Lois Lane questioning not Clark Kent, but Superman. So I gotta say that was very powerful because they felt like a new couple. James Gunn made Lois seem like an excellent reporter, a journalist, And she's like, "Oh, you only ask yourself your own questions. That's not hard hitting."
Yeah.
So he's like, "All right, he's only been Superman for 3 years, so he only said he was Superman for at age 27, which was a good point at the beginning of the movie. So we have timelines,
Oh yeah.
but
That's true.
yeah, so it's like, okay, so he's been Superman for 3 years, and no one really questioned him, and this would be like kind of a first interview,
Yeah.
and Lois Lane grilled him, and to the point where it was kind of annoying because real world politics is obviously involved in this movie.
Yeah.
So just the misinformation being directed at Superman is like so real world frustrating because I hate it. Like in the real world, I hate it. It makes me mad. It gives me stress. It beyond furious. All the absolute bullshit going on with the world.
But,
How
like,
the government just
speaking of
straight up
misinformation, though,
lies.
I watched a video last night on YouTube when I was up late. And like it was a guy just telling like I keep seeing things online that Superman is woke. I'm like, there is nothing in this movie that's like woke or what quote unquote what the people like to use. Like there's nothing like remotely like over the top. I don't know. Like it's being labeled that, and
that's
there's
the
like nothing in
problem.
there political. Like really, like
No, it's not because, and then I found a clip. Another friend of mine sent me a clip that Superman from 1952 was yelling at some racist and being like,
oh
"You
yeah,
guys came into their countries." Like, I'm sure a bunch of people have seen that now, but it's Superman has always been an immigrant,
yes.
but that's part of the real world, and that's been in the comic books. And
Which
then
was
Lex
like
Luthor hates him because he's
the
a strong
sisters, like
alien.
he created that character in the story. They were Jewish immigrants, like that.
Yeah.
That's it's in there.
Yeah, so just the social media aspect of just jumping on anything with a female, anything
Yeah.
that has to do with immigrants, and anything having to do with standing up for yourself is suddenly woke. It's like you can edit this, but off. Like
the girl
it makes
speaking
me so
Spanish, so
mad.
it's woke. Like
Right? Like it makes me so frustrated. So just and seeing the real world, because before when we watch superhero movies and you're like, oh, J. Jonah Jameson, he's just an a-hole. Everyone knows he's lying.
Yeah.
But then you realize when they apply that J. Jonah Jameson aspect to the real world and you get the idiots that thinks frogs are turning people homosexuals, like whatever it is. And it just, media is just lying, blatantly lying. So it makes me so mad to see it in movies because I'm experiencing it in real life. So I'm just like, oh, Lex, you idiot. At least he made it a comedy joke where he said, and I'm using a bunch of brain dead monkeys to type out things. So I thought that was funny to James Gunn, probably a little inside grilling to all the trolls of the world. Like he's literally like immigrant and woke, and it's like, oh, a bunch of monkeys are typing this. So I'm like, okay, kudos, James Gunn.
So you missed all the trailer stuff. So like there was you probably missed all the like controversies that came out from the trailers. Like so when they show Superman bleeding on the floor, and then when he drags him back to the thing, people thought like, oh, why is he hurting, and how come you can hear his ribs cracking? He's Superman. And then they put the sun on him, and then he's like, why is he like in pain when the sun is supposed to be healing him? But it's because his bones were getting put back together.
Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, there was like a whole thing like, oh, James Gunn's gonna ruin this movie. Like, no, dummies. Like,
well, and that's what I also love too is that Superman isn't a god. Like he isn't unbeatable. I don't like the unbeatable hero, or that can only lose to a rock. Like he was beat by a man in a suit. And I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm fine with Superman being the strongest of all the heroes and the fastest, and as long as he doesn't have hypnovision and other dumb stuff he does. But like, just stick to normal Superman. His power is hope. Like his power is being a leader and never giving up. And that was the problem with like the Snyder stuff. It didn't feel like Superman. It just felt like a big, strong guy beating up on things. Just like, okay, like. But, while I found it touching in the Zack Snyder, when he broke Zod's neck, because he had to save people, I was like, okay, I didn't have any problems with that.
My issue with those movies, like that Superman was in his own head too much. Like, and he didn't seem like I don't know, like Superman Returns, like that Superman was like concerned about everyone. He kind of had like the Messiah complex thing too. But he just heard the scene where he's, floating above the planet and he can hear everyone like shouting in pain, and he wants to help everybody at once, but he can't, which is it happens in this movie too. He has to make a choice of what to save, which is like the original movies where save Lois or do I go save the and then he reverses the world.
Yeah, save the world or save the people.
Yeah.
So, and also, like, speaking of the Superman stuff, I even watched the new HBO Superman animated series where it's, like, almost drawn like anime. And I loved it. Like, I thought it was fun. And I think this movie takes a lot from that, where it's just lighthearted. And in that movie, too, Superman isn't a god. Like, he isn't just regular robots beat him. And these other characters with random powers, he has weaknesses to, like, electricity and to gas and to breathing and stuff. Like, he has some weaknesses. So, and I'm perfectly fine with scaling Superman down because he can kill everyone in the world if he wants to. And then you have to just bring out Darkseid. And then he kills Darkseid. Like, he's too strong in the comics. So when it came to normal people with it was a man in a suit, it was Ultraman, it was the girl with the techno powers, and they beat him up. And I was like, okay, like, I'm perfectly fine with that because I like to see my heroes overcome adversity. And to see everything that went on in this movie, the adversity of misinformation, the adversity of Lex Luthor, and just hating him, and the adversity of getting his butt beat and then coming back was touching. So it was a lot of
the movie was like you said, like they probably did take a lot from like the animated, and there was a lot of like lighthearted things, and there was jokes, and it was funny. I was smiling during the movie, which I didn't do during any of the Man of Steel or any of those, because those were so like drab and serious, because they were going for that dramatic element. They wanted you to like feel something when you're watching it. Like, I'm telling you, man, I was watching this movie last night, and the scene where like they're showing like the kids putting up the flags, I almost like burst into tears watching that. Like, I was like, oh my god, like that like got me.
Oh, I choked up.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna start like tearing up watching freaking Superman, but like just it put something in me that I was like, like it's Superman. Like everybody wants a Superman, like to fix the messed up stuff in the world. So it just made you have that hope, and that absence of hope makes you sad inside. When you're watching it, because that's not real, but you're watching a movie and you really wish that something like that would actually happen, that there was like, a guy come. So I felt, like those little kids in that scene. So I'm like, it brought me back to being like a little kid and watching, Christopher Reeves, and like, yeah, he's going to come and save the day, and the bad guys are going to go away, and no one's going to die. They did such a great job making it emotional for me, watching it. Even though it was like a movie with like Superman saying he was punk rock and, all this other stuff, And that's something I never got from the Snyder movies. I mean, I don't want to bash the Snyder movies too much, but I didn't like them. But like, still though, like, you don't have to try to go over the top dramatic to make it black and white and have somebody feel something like noir. But you can do that in a movie like this and have it like all the Marvel movies. People give them the crap like, oh, there's like nothing. It's just popcorn movies, and it's like there's been so many emotional moments in Marvel movies, and that's what was missing from DC. And like, I'm glad Gunn brought that to this.
Fantastic point. That's what's missing from DC is just emotion. Like, you have where the characters are sad, and like I said, he broke Zod's neck type of thing, but it was missing what Marvel is missing. Like, even Thor, like, overcoming, and kids, Guardians of the Galaxy, like I said, literally brought tears to my eyes. Like, it's emotion, man, and it's
like,
I think it's
so good, Mr. Stark, all that stuff.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that's what it's missing, and that's what James Gunn, with many other people, added to the MCU. So, and like I'll get to James Gunn a little bit more later, because I do want to make the comedy its own little discussion thing, but I want to touch on where you said just the hope of Superman, and that takes me back to the original scene that I thought was super powerful, is that Lois questioning Clark, aka Superman, questioning Superman, and the way they talked about it, and she grilled him like a journalist, and it didn't matter anything that was going on because he just lost it. He's just said like people were going to die.
Yes.
That's all that matters. He didn't care about politics. He didn't care
where they were from, nothing. Like, people were going to die, and they stopped them.
Yes. When he yelled that, I'm actually getting chills right now. So when he yelled that, that's when I started to get hooked on the actor. I'm like, okay, he's powerful, and he shows emotion, as weird as he looks. And as weird as the underwear is, like, it's supposed to be that thing where it captures your attention type of thing. And it was that scene where he's like, people were going to die. And he's like, nothing else mattered.
Yeah.
And that's what the problem with people who want to help and then people who are making it political. And it's like, well, what about this with Kuala Lumpur and stuff like that? And it's just like, people were going, that's all that mattered. And it was so strong.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant when I will poo-poo on James Gunn a little bit later, but that's what I meant where James Gunn made this feel like Superman, and that's what these were missing.
Like
so he
care,
also
like about what's going on in this city or what's going on with this country. Or like she's like, oh, did you talk to a person? Like, no. He's like, I did afterwards. We had a private conversation.
Yeah, dragged him away and threw him on a cactus, which was like, maybe not the right thing to do, Superman. But if he's dangled people from the sky plenty of times, so that may be illegal. But they're killers, if Superman swooped in and scooped up some dictator, then it's like some fascist leader and dangled it from the sky, then I'm fine with it.
I mean, and he's still, this movie did a fine line between Superman not wanting to kill people, which he didn't want to. He didn't want anybody to die. But then when the bad guys come attacking, he has no problem shooting them with his eyes. And then they fall down, but then they didn't show them dead. So he's not. No,
remember, they were up and moving. He made a purposeful point to show them writhing in pain. So
yeah,
he didn't use full eye beams. So
that was so awesome when he did the tornado thing.
Yeah, that felt like Superman too, just like this weird thing, spinning. And how many great scenes did we get to see of just Superman being iconic? Mm-hmm. So Superman rising from the smoke after the bridge collapsed.
Oh yeah, that was cool. Yeah, and the lady's looking at him.
Superman standing in the sun, when the flag after he saves, after he saves a bunch of people. It just felt like, oh man, him flying up into space. Getting sunlight, and all that just felt like Superman.
And it wasn't overt. It wasn't here, we're trying to show you this. I think the Snyder movies did that a lot. We're like, oh look, he's a god. Look what he's doing. But this one, he just did stuff, and they didn't really need to highlight it. He was just doing it. He stood there for a second. If you blink and you miss it, you don't really notice it. But those are the things I'm looking for Superman in those scenes. So yeah, when he came out from the bridge and the lady's looking at him, oh, that's cool. Yeah, he's just standing there.
And that's good directing. Is it gave us the character's point of view. They weren't doing let's do a superhero pose. They weren't doing that. Let's do something weird. Spider-Man landing and no one's looking at him landing, or Black Widow landing and no one's looking at them, but they do a weird pose. No, this was just Superman being iconic. And I was just like, oh man, did that so well.
Yeah. I didn't mind the costume. I thought the costume was kind of cool. There was certain parts where I'm like, yeah, he doesn't look too big of a dude, because it's a foamy kind of, I like that they didn't have his abs showing, because that's kind of always weird,
I mean, I don't know. That's the thing that Cavill did so perfect. The suit looks perfect. It could be brighter, of course, but the whole thing's dark or whatever. These muscular, Superman, I thought Cavill was a fantastic choice. This guy will take me some getting used to, but his emotions were there. That's what matters to me.
The acting was there and the writing was good. So I pretty much liked him right off, after the first scene. And he's talking to the robots and all that stuff. And he had character, he wasn't just a wooden object.
He did have character.
Yeah, he had character. He was a person. He made you feel well, this guy's nice. I like him. That's somebody I'd want to meet,
and it's. The underwear looks stupid, but it's been like that from 50, whatever it is, 50, 60, 70 years.
I refused to watch the X-Men movies when they came out, the late 90s, 2000s, because they weren't wearing the freaking costumes. I don't care if they look stupid. I like superhero costumes. You're watching a superhero movie.
I'm the opposite. I like my superhero movies to look real world. So, I hated Wolverine's costume in Deadpool and Wolverine, and the mask was stupid. And Psylocke even when they did Psylocke in the Apocalypse movie.
Yeah, she was comedy accurate, because Olivia Munn played Psylocke, I think.
Yeah, it looked stupid. That's just my belief. It's just
that's like making a Mortal Kombat movie, making everybody wearing suits, wearing
They just got to get to me. It's they just got to wind down the comic book stuff, and I don't need 50 pockets on cable. It looks ridiculous. Like I don't need all that. I liked the toned down version, and maybe it's because those X-Men movies of the 2000 kind of established superhero movies. Because Superman and Batman of the 70s and 80s looked like Superman and Batman.
Yeah.
It wasn't until X-Men that kind of introduced people to a new world, like, we're going to dial it down so it's not so flashy. Iron Man still can look like Iron Man. Thor still mostly looks like Thor. Captain America,
Well,
the
people
first
saw
movie,
Blade and didn't know Blade was a
sucked.
Marvel comic. Like Blade
Yeah,
was just a
yeah,
dude
he was
in a coat. Like
So I'm happy with the suit being kind of dialed down. And the underwear's always looked ridiculous. Why do you do that? So I loved the Zack Snyder design. But I know James Gunn has said he wants the classic feel. He wants to be like Superman gets kids' attention. So if he's got to wear his underwear on the outside of his suit to kind of make kids comfortable or kind of make kids laugh or be like, why are you so weird? And he's just like, I don't know. It just looks kind of neat. Captain Ions is a thing. So it's just like, so I can overlook it because that's the comic book design. As ridiculous as it seems, maybe it's just the 90s edgy kid in me where everything needs to be dark and all that stuff. And, make your superheroes kill each other. Maybe that's just coming out, but it looks ridiculous. But that's not a negative point in the movie at all. It's a classic feel, but something that is a negative point is, like I said, the James Gunn of it. I felt while the scene with the garage door opening with Mr. Terrific did make me laugh, it was not needed. It was like a cheap laugh, and I'm like, okay, this is so James Gunny. I'm like, okay, that's kind of ridiculous. And that's the thing. Everybody loves the scene. My kid loved it. My wife loved it. It's great. But and I laughed. I chuckled. I'm like, oh, that's funny. But then it was like, okay, James Gunn, let's, we need lighthearted in movie. That's cool. But I don't know what it is. It was just like, I felt out of place. You got to have comedy. You got to have comedy.
That what's Mr. Terrific is so like a stale piece of bread.
Yeah, he was really dry and emotionless, but I don't know enough about him to be like if that's just the character.
As a character, I've never seen this character before.
He was in some of the animated stuff. I know he's in comics. I know he's the third smartest person in the world. Wow. I think he should be the second smart person in the world because Batman should not be on the list of three smartest people in the world. I'm sorry. He should not be. It should be Lex Luthor and it should be Mr. Terrific. That's it. If you want to add some people after that, go ahead. I don't care. But Batman should not be number 2. Give me a freaking break. Well, Earthlings. So that's why it says third smartest.
But he's a metahuman, which they didn't really explain. He's just smart. But I'm assuming they're like.
Is he? He's just smart. He might be in the comics again. I don't know enough about his background character, but
what's the difference between metahumans and like? Is that just like you're born that way, or are they supposed to be like alien bloodlines or something?
Yeah, because you can't say mutants. So obviously, metahumans is DC versions of like. More than human. So like, and we'll touch on. Let's go to the Justice League in a minute. We'll say them as like a whole combined thing. Yeah, we'll get to that.
The comedy stuff from him that I kind of had a problem with was all the like innuendo stuff with Jimmy Olsen, and then the girl, like.
Yeah, they were put, and again, that's because we're both parents of young kids and older kids for me.
Like I was looking at the text messages on his phone, like when they showed that clip real quick. I'm like, what are they talking about?
I thought they did a good job with that. You said it gave it a Superman feel, where we don't like the swearing in the movies, where they misspelled the D word. It's like, why are you being such a jerk? Why are you being such a D word, Jimmy? And they misspelled it. And I loved it just to kind of that, because all these kids text. If your kid is 11, they know what all these words are, and they go to public school. They know what
if they watch Cobra Kai, they know all these words.
Oh my God, right? Don't even get me started on Cobra Kai. I and my kid sit down and watch Cobra Kai like crazy. And that last season upset me. So this isn't just a superhero thing. This is a societal norm that me and you have in common, where you just don't need to say every other word. You don't
The
need
last
it.
season's worse
You
than
can
the
say
first
that.
season. Like we haven't gotten there yet. I'm
Oh
like
my
on the third
God.
season with my daughter. So
It's unbelievable, man. It's just,
first
it's
season
like,
was pretty
what did
bad.
this for dinner? It's like,
Yeah.
it was great. It was totally unnecessary. And that's the thing. It's just unnecessary. So, again, we like to go rails, so we'll try to stick with Superman, the movie. But another thing that kind of bothered me was, Hawk Girl, I know a little bit about her. She doesn't scream like that. She's not the Banshee. Like, she doesn't need to scream to fly. Like, and
She just
even
does
if her screams do kind of like disorient people, it didn't tell that story in the movie. So she just screamed. And I'm like, okay, literally every scene, scream, fly down the hall, fly out the building, scream, throw the guy, scream. I'm like, if you have one or two screams, fine, but there's like 6 or 7 screams. And I'm like,
I just thought
she
it was like
doesn't
it's clobbering
scream.
time kind of thing. Like that was just her catchphrase. Every time she show up, she'd do that to
Yeah,
scare people. And
like I said, it may disorient people type of thing, but like I said, that they didn't transfer that story from the books into the movie. So it was just her screaming, like, I'm a hawk, I'm going to scream like a hawk. It's like, no, it's dumb. It looks dumb. If you want to have a war cry, then have her scream, but Hawk's screaming is not
no
emotional and guttural. It's what?
Imagine a goat man. Ah!
Yeah, like Thor. I laughed during Thor.
Oh, yeah.
They only had maybe like 4 goat screams, a good amount of goat screams, but like this girl Hawk screaming, and I was just like, you're killing the character just by being annoying, because by like the 5th one, it was annoying. So every time she appeared on screen, it was annoying.
I didn't
and it felt bad.
I kept listening for it though. Like it was the thing that stood out, and I kept listening for it. But it wasn't like something I was like cringy or nothing. I just thought like, oh, she's gonna do it again. And then she did it again. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, she did it. I guess I thought it was kind of cool. I guess I don't know.
Like it's distracting. I'll just say it's distracting, because I don't have a problem with Hawk Girl. I think it's a cool character. What they do, and then like her and Hawk Man or Hawk Guy or whatever. Hawk Girl
at all. I have no know how she got bit by a hawk or what happened or what's going on there.
No, they're from Egypt. Her and Hawk Guy are like, or Hawk Man or Hawk whatever, because there's a Hawk Guy and a Hawk Man.
Because he was on Black Adam. That guy, the Hawk Man.
Yeah. So it's like they rejuvenate. They're from Egypt. They're lovers for life type of thing. And anytime they get back together and love each other, they die. Like it's a tragic story of love and loss, that lasted thousands of years and type of thing. So she's a fine character. And it's just, they made her annoying. Anytime she appeared on, it was just, and to me, that's a problem with directing and writing, to make an okay character annoying. So... And before we get to the rest of the Justice Gang, I must ask, the weird stuff with James Gunn is, what is his obsession with eyeballs? Like,
oh yeah, I know.
In Suicide Squad, he has like slow-mo scenes of slitting Starro's eye, which just make people uncomfortable. Like, oh my God, he's slitting his eyeball open, And then like in this movie, you literally have another giant monster, and you have a leg stuck in their eyeball, and then you keep hitting with a mace in the eyeball, like jabbing them, and it's just like,
there was they put that pick. The thing they did, the Green Lantern did the to keep the eye open, and then he had that thing like kept like jackhammering it, and people were looking like, ugh. Like
yeah, he does it like in everything he has. It's just this. So I don't know if it's just a James Gunn obsession,
but fighting the monster from Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. So I just had to point out that James Gunn has a weird obsession with eyeballs. I don't know if you noticed it.
A positive thing for the humor. Like I love the scene when him and Lois were talking, and then they're just fighting that creature in the window. That was just like hilarious. He's like, "Oh, they're
fighting the." Oh yeah. Which I thought was brilliant, because they edited out the Justice Society in the trailer, because in the trailer you just see the thing floating in the background.
That's true.
And I was like, why is it just floating? And in the movie, you see it get hit with a big green baseball bat.
Yeah, because no, it was not a baseball bat. It was a lightsaber, because you can hear the swooshing. You didn't notice that?
No way, was it?
Yes, it was a lightsaber. It kept doing that every time you hit it.
Well,
me and my daughter looked at each other like, it's a lightsaber.
Like we were watching the movie. Baseball bat.
Yeah. No.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Well, I mean, it comes to the point where this might be a movie where I may watch a second
Oh,
time.
this is gonna be a movie I'm gonna watch repeatedly because like which is
in
odd for
theaters. I
DC.
mean, I might go
Oh,
a second time.
yeah, no, like I'd really rarely watch the newer DCU movies, but this is gonna be one I'm gonna watch a lot. Like, you know.
Yeah, I agree. So, and switching gears, let's finally get to, and we'll talk about all these characters as a whole. We obviously already touched on Hawkgirl. She didn't have a lot of scenes other than her screeching. And now let's touch on the rest of the Justice Society, aka the Justice Gang. And I must say, James Gunn, this is a positive for him. I think he totally nailed it. They had the right amount of comedy. And that's the thing. You can have comedy. It just needs to be the right amount of comedy. So they had the right amount of comedy. They had the right amount of action. They had the right amount of emotion.
Mhm.
And I must say, like, that's James Gunn's skill, is adding obscure characters. See Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Adding obscure characters and making them good.
Polka
So
Dot Man.
kudos to him. On what?
Polka Dot Man and Suicide Squad. That was great.
Yeah, he made you care about Polka. It's like it was a touching story, you know. So, and we'll do Mr. Terrific first because I know less about him.
Yeah.
But they did good with him. Like I said, like you said, he felt kind of dry, but that might be the character.
End,
so
yeah.
I'm not going to hold it against him. It might be just how he's portrayed. He might just be, don't talk to me. I'll do my thing.
Yeah.
He might just be stern.
To piss off Green Lantern or something.
Yeah. So I'm not going to hold that as a negative. That might just be a character trait I have to get used to. But I'm glad he gave him a solo fight. When he does Lois to go invest.
Oh, that was awesome.
Everyone didn't want to help Lois. And then he's like, you know what? I don't want to help you. I just want to go see this dimensional rift. Because Lex Luthor is smarter than him. And we'll talk on Lex Luthor as a whole later on. So we're not skipping over him. We like to bunch it up. But yeah, him in that fight where he like gave her a bubble and just beat everyone's butt, that was good. I was like, yeah, you made him a threat because he's not really a threat against a giant kaiju. He's just the brains, But he ended up dang near killing him, honestly. So Mr. Terrific got a lot of good scenes, but he made him good. He made him an okay character, and he just beat up a lot of people. And I was like, cool. Mr. Terrific's got some cool scenes. So kudos to James Gunn for that.
Yeah, because that was cool. Like, she's like looking at the bubble and him fighting her. But I was like, my eyes were just all over the screen watching that. Like, that's awesome. Like, I was sold on that guy. And then he just wanted to do it just to do it. He wasn't like... I like that they didn't dwell on, like, character decisions too much. Because a lot of times they'll focus on, like, oh, should I go or should I not go? Like, I could see that have been a whole, like, 30-minute sequence of the Justice Gang, like, trying to go decide if they're going to go up, and they didn't. He's just like, yeah, I'll go. Come on, you use my car. And then, and then he went and the bubble thing, and then he's beating all these people up super easy, and they were all like, some of them were metahumans too, right? Because like that one guy was trying to like chomp into the shield or something. Like, I don't know what he was doing. Like, some of them had powers. Yeah. Then the guy was trying to put his face in the shield, and then like, I don't know if he's doing something with his mouth, but he was trying to get in there. But yeah, some of them,
I might have missed that.
Yeah, the people that were like in Hawaiian shirts were like metahumans, I think. Yeah.
Oh, they were just I thought they were just the scientists.
No,
even though they're in
powers.
Hawaiian
They were jumping around all
shirts.
crazy. That's why he was hitting them, and they were like flying around. Yeah, they weren't just like nobodies. They were the ones that were attacking him mostly. Yeah, but I liked all the bombs and everything. Like that was cool. That was a whole cool sequence. And then he gets in there, and then he's like, I can hack into this, and then he uses his robots and everything. Like
yeah. James Gunn gets a little carried away with music sometimes.
He does.
Because like we're in that specific scene, I was like, this music is weird. I don't know if it fits, but it adds some lightheartedness to it. So like, again, one of the things that
it did remind me of like a couple scenes from Guardians where they're playing like these 70s type low mellow music, and they're showing like a fight scene. Like that's his MO. That's what he does. Like
that's what I said. That's feels like a James Gunn movie, which isn't exactly a positive. But then again, this feels like a James Gunn movie,
like,
which is a positive.
Mr. Blue Sky and everyone's fighting.
Yeah. So it has its ups and downs. And again, maybe it's just because it's like, oh, James Gunn is going to do this, and sure enough, he's got a neat soundtrack of songs that I've never heard before. Okay.
We're big MCU guys. If there's DC people watching this, they've never seen Guardians, or they're just lying that they never did. But like, because how can you watch those movies and not like them? Like and he did bring character through, in which I'm a big music person, so I get it. Like when you're writing a movie or writing something, like you have a song in your head, which is what he does. Like he's filming a thing and he has like the music playing on set, or in the headphones in his head, and he's trying to get a feel for it, like he's making a music video, so it's giving him the vibes of what he wants that scene to be. So the music does make a big difference, which is why when they made Star Wars, they had like they didn't have John Williams music yet, but he used like regular, what do they call them? Temp tracks, from classical music. Yeah, so like that's what he does, and sometimes he doesn't get to use the songs that he wants for the movies, like for Guardians, and he has to substitute them, but he gets songs that are the same vibe. So I mean, I get it. Like I'm really into music. I really don't mind it too much. I thought they kind of went over the top on this one a little bit with the punk rock stuff, that whole conversation, and then playing the song at the end of the movie. From that fake band. Yeah, but it's a funny, quirky thing. Like it makes it quirky, It's not so like
attention, and I said my kid loved it, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
And then touching on the rest of the Justice gang, I am a huge Green Lantern fan. Like Green Lantern is far and away. Green Lantern as a whole, I can't just pick one Green Lantern. Yes, I know I'm cheating.
Are you gonna say Ryan Reynolds is my Green Lantern?
He is a Green Lantern. I will say that. So, but he's Hal Jordan. I enjoyed the Green Lantern movie from whatever 2011.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy Ryan Reynolds completely shatting on the Green Lantern name for the past 20 years. I do not.
It wasn't that bad of a movie. I watched that in theater when it came out.
Yeah. That was Green Lantern peak. Jeff Johns created, like he didn't create, but he made him popular again. Like Green Lantern, that's when I really started to read comics, was World War Hawk and
because they did Blackest Night and all that stuff like after that movie came out.
Yeah, like the Sinestro War is when I got into Green Lantern. So then I've read like everything early, like the early stuff where they introduced what is it? Where they first mentioned Blackest Night when Abin Sur tied up people. It's like tied up Atrocitus. So I am a giant Green Lantern fan. I've only stopped reading in the past 2 years just because it's like against my religion to pay $5 for comic books.
One of my first, it was funny when I was a kid. Like one of my first action figures I had was like a little Green Lantern guy. He was a 3 3/4 inch, and I had Wolverine with the red and yellow costume. Those are my two superheroes. And I think I had a Superman too, but like, those are, I have a little thing for Green Lantern. I do love him as a character, and even though I haven't really read much of the comic books, but I did like the movie when it came out. I tried watching it a couple years back, and I was like, it's not as good as I thought. But like, it mostly was the villain guy was annoying, but it wasn't a bad movie. I didn't, but yeah, I think it's become a thing where like it's got so much like flack. People like Jar Jar Binks it.
Yeah. The problem is, at least I'm at best stuck up for it. Ryan Reynolds has continuously made it a joke the entire time, and that's the problem with it. Yeah. So it's an okay movie. It just keeps crapping on it.
It's
so I'm mad at Ryan Reynolds. I'm not. The movie could have done better.
That movie, like.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. He wouldn't be married if he didn't make that movie, so he should like love that movie.
So, but onto the Green Lantern thing. It's Guy Gardner was an interesting pick, just to get Nathan Fillion in there. I hate the haircut. I know we're meant to hate the haircut, but like it's one of those where if you're gonna give him a bowl cut, like give him a bowl cut. It's like they literally just gave him a stupid haircut. Like it literally looks like it was chopped up. Like the guy doesn't know. Like he looks like he cuts his own hair.
They addressed it though in the movie.
Yeah,
it was funny.
So. But overall, as a giant Green Lantern fan, I'm more of into the aliens. Like Mogo is my favorite Green Lantern. He's a living planet. So I'm more of like the obscure ones, like Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart and all of them. They're okay. I'm like Mogo, Steel, the guy who's a Daxamite. I can't remember his name, but a Daxamite. Yeah, he's actually a Superman character with a Green Lantern ring. He's currently trapped in the sun.
Okay.
So, but as a Green Lantern fan, he did good. He did really good with it. He was funny. Guy Gardner felt like Guy Gardner. He was a total a-hole. Yeah. But Guy Gardner also has a heart of gold,
Yeah, he wasn't a bad guy. They were just like corporate superheroes.
Yeah. And my wife pointed out that when they went to talk to Superman after he saw his family's video, after his parents' video, he sealed off the windows, and that was a good thing to do. So he definitely has heart. And the other thing I liked with Green Lantern is that it kind of made him kind of like the hero at the end, because the whatever imaginary nation, Juan Empire or something like that, and the kids with the flags, like you mentioned earlier, they needed a savior, and it was the Justice Society. So I really wasn't expecting that, because Superman got left with a choice to either save the bigger world disaster after Lex opened up the portal, or just to draw Superman out, or to save the little people. So it was definitely a mix of decision of what to save. And for some reason, I didn't even think, well, Superman handled the big things and the Justice Society handle, the war. So I was glad to see them pop up. And honestly, my kid was like, oh, man, I really like the Green Lantern and the hands coming out of there, and they're like giving him the finger. So
that was fun.
it's just, again, it's like one of those things where, it was kind of adult, but like for a 12-year-old that's well aware of those gestures, it was kind of funny. So I thought that was a pretty good scene where the Justice Society got to save the day.
Was the guy was there too, right? Mr.
Terrific.
Did he go down there, or was he still in Metropolis? Or not Metropolis? Yeah, Metropolis.
I want to say he was in Metropolis. Yeah, because he was there when the portal started to open. So.
Oh, that's right. And then he was there to hack it when it closed it. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, so it was just Lantern and it was Guy Gardner and Hawk Girl.
Yeah. Just a lot of screaming and then Guy Gardner.
Then they kind of did kind of foreshadow that a little bit with the monster in the background thing, where Superman doesn't always have to be the one to be there, he's the only one that was willing to act, like the other the Justice Gang, whatever, they just went wherever the corporation told them to go. This time they just kind of went unsanctioned and just took off and we're gonna help out our friend. And
then it's on that Justice Society. They did show Max Lord, which I thought was an interesting choice.
Isn't he the one from played by what's his name's brother, James Gunn's brother, right?
Is that his brother? I thought it was just like his buddy.
No, it's his brother.
Maybe it is brother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why he's in everything he does. Yeah. He's the dude from Gilmore Girls. I forget his first name, but yeah. I'm pretty sure his last name's Gunn. I'm pretty sure it's his brother. But
it might be, actually. I thought I remember seeing something like that.
Isn't Max Lord the character from Wonder Woman?
Yeah. Right? So, he's Wonder Woman.
Oh. Huh.
So I thought that was interesting to include him. I don't know if he always owned a piece of the Justice Society. I just don't know kind of like his lineage. But when I seen him pop up, I was like, oh, bringing Max Lord back. Interesting.
What do you mean he owns part of the Justice Society? He was with the funding?
No. Well, I didn't know why they put Lord in there. So I didn't know if, like you said, because they're corporate. So I don't know if Max Lord is that corporate. I just don't know what it is, but they definitely seemed corporate. I didn't know if they were operating on their own. So obviously Mr. Terrific is rich or has a lot of funding. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, because whenever they landed, he's like, oh, thanks, courtesy of whatever corporation. I forgot Guy Gardner would say it every time.
Oh, geez, really? I totally missed that. No, I don't think so.
He's from your friends from whatever company. I forgot what he said, what the name of the company. They said it like 4 times.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, no, they were sponsored by a company that backed them up, and they only went where the corporate interests wanted them to go. So.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was kind of a nice touch at the end, because they kind of showed they did actually have a heroic, motivation, heart of gold kind of thing, like they weren't just a-holes,
Yeah, because they definitely wouldn't have been permitted to go stop the war. Yeah. So they went there after this. That was
a country that no one realized it was being run by a puppet dictator.
Yeah, obviously the dude's crazy. So
yeah, my wife said the same thing. Where she was confused with the countries because they were fake. It's DC landscape is so weird because they'll have Metropolis, and then there was a Gotham mentioned in there when they were showing the freeway, and it's when everybody's trying to evacuate the city. It's there's an exit that said Gotham City, however many miles.
Oh, did it? Yeah. I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I was looking around. I didn't see it.
Yeah,
because I was wondering if they were going to put them. if they were going to put him across the river again. I was like, yeah, I don't
think
know
so.
about
I think it
that.
was like when they were showing the bridge. Like there was like an exit for the Gotham City route, whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah, but just it's always kind of weird because they have Metropolis and then like Keystone City and all these other ones, and then they have New York, like and then they
Yeah.
still have California. And like, how does this map look? In
Yeah, I always wondered because I always thought like Gotham was in Chicago and Metropolis was like a New York type of thing. But then
yeah,
they made him
yeah,
across the river, and I don't know if that's how it is in the comics now or what.
I don't know. Yeah, because I don't know, because Gotham is its own island. I mean, per the movies, I don't know about the comic books, but you have the Narrows and the bridge going across, and then there's like an island of Gotham. That's where the Arkham Asylum's at, I guess. And then
Yeah, which seems like New York.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, that is true. I never realized like Metropolis is supposed to be kind of like New York, and well, I always knew that they always filmed Batman stuff in Chicago, so I always figured that. But yeah, they do kind
and
of
and Pittsburgh.
and Pittsburgh, and apparently the Kansas scenes are filmed in Ohio. From watching the end credits, so in this
Oh, really?
movie, yeah, it's a state of Ohio.
Yeah,
Like,
I drive across that bridge all the time in Pittsburgh, the big yellow one.
oh, really?
Yeah. And honestly, let me say this too. In kind of the final scene, where Superman kind of saves the day, and then him and Lois are like, let's go have an interview. And then they kiss, and they're in like a big hotel.
Was that a hotel
It's like
or was that a?
well,
Is that a
I mean,
train
you
station
saw
or
the
something?
scene where they're like, yeah, it's like a train station where they're like kissing and they're in the air
Flying
and
in
stuff
the
like
air,
that.
yeah. But that went on way too long.
That's actually, yeah, that's that hotel. It's a hotel now, but that's in Cleveland. And me and the wife stayed there a couple years ago. Like right away, she was like, "Oh my god, that's what it is!" Because it has the huge, giant, whatever arborarium in the ceiling, and all the walls are gold. We were actually there, and someone was having a wedding.
Oh wow.
Like we literally stayed in there, like in that hotel. It's a hotel now. I don't know if it was a train station, but it has like a whole. It's like whatever 6 or 7 stories, and like one floor is all stores. Like you literally walk around like that area, and it's all like stores in the wall, and then it's all hotel rooms all the way up. Like we stayed in that building, I think, at just like one of our things that we did. We went to go hang out, and
Wait,
so
was it
that was
supposed to be-
amazing to see.
Was it supposed to be the Daily? Not Daily Bugle. Well, yeah, no, it is Daily Bugle. Let's say Daily.
Well, they
Times.
just ran into a building.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, it was. I got to say that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
So seeing that, I was like, oh my gosh, we went on like a date in that building. So we stayed there for like a whole week.
Well, see, now you got to go back
Yeah.
and reenact flying up in the air and figure out how to do that.
Yeah, now other people are going to know more about it because it's just it's literally just a random. I mean, it's known in Cleveland, but people don't travel there just to. Obviously, someone had a wedding there, so it's a big.
It's a.
You can see the floor and the steps and everything. They filmed it exactly like it is. I'm sure they touched it up some because it didn't have that much gold in it, but yeah, all the handrails are gold, everything gold in. So it was actually really neat. So that was cool to see. I got to say, my wife was pretty happy with that.
That's cool.
So, and then I guess the big character we got to touch on is Mr. Lex Luthor. So, what'd you think of him?
I don't know. It's weird because grew up with the other movies, so to me, Gene Hackman was Lex Luthor, like older man, kind of thing. I
Yeah.
guess he wasn't that old in those movies, but he looked like he was old. But like, yeah, and then the version that was in the Snyderverse with Jesse Eisenberg, right, played him. Like they made him like a younger, like kind of dude from Facebook, kind of person.
Yeah, made him Chuck Mogul. Yeah.
Yeah, and then this one they made him into kind of the same. I don't know. I don't know if they de-aged that guy or because I thought that because he's the one that plays Beast in X-Men, right? In First Class.
Yeah, that's the first one I remember. Yeah, I actually like that actor. He does good.
Yeah,
like
he
him.
does. But I'm like, he looked really young though, so I'm like, I don't know. He's supposed to be the same age as Superman, but I mean, I thought he was fine.
I wonder if they're kind of sticking to like the same age thing, but
yeah, I
assume it kind of is.
I kind of wish they would have like made him a little bit older, used an actor with like a deeper voice, because when he was like ranting about stuff, like it didn't come across really scary for me. Maybe for little kids it would have, but he just seemed like kind of whiny, But I mean, I thought it was okay. But yeah, they made him into like the super genius guy, which I guess and I don't really know much about how Lex Luthor is in the books because I'm just used to seeing him in the movies, but. Where he had the bumbling idiots around him. And there was a henchman named Otis, which I thought that was a nice nod. The guy that was
What's the other thing?
because Otis was the henchman in the original movies.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I haven't watched those in forever.
Yeah, so and then the one guy is like, oh, he calls him by name. He's like, Otis, do this, and then he's like, okay, he does. He's one of the computer guys or something. I don't know, but
Oh, okay.
not the main one with the mustache that wanted to turn on the portal thing.
The big glasses guy. No, not him.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what actor that was because that guy looked familiar, but no, but I thought it was good. I was wondering about the girl taking the selfies the whole time because I kept noticing that. I was like, why is he letting her take pictures everywhere? But yeah, I mean, they made him really like when they I guess more like a psychotic kind of genius person because he didn't have any care about killing anybody, and that made him scary. So,
Yeah, that scene was really cool because I mean they just don't show straight up murders like that. I mean, you kind of get punched or fall off buildings, but
yeah,
when it came to that scene where Superman's locked in the alternate dimension prison with Metamorpho, which was cool to see. Wait, is it Metamorpho? Yeah, Metamorpho, which is cool to see. A pretty obscure character, but pretty powerful. Yeah, I've seen him around in comics. He's just kind of like, oh, villain of the week type guy. But
yeah,
and then he brings out yeah, he brings out a random dude that Superman bought a sandwich from once, who appeared earlier in the movie, and helped him up. And Lex plays Russian roulette and kills him in 2 shots. So it was like really dark, not bad dark, but dark in a good way where he got to be like a villain. Like he just killed in the way that the actor acted, I guess the way that Superman was really good. I mean, he was physically distraught and crushed by it. And Lex was just like, I'll just find someone else, and kill them next. And he just left. And I was like, wow, that's demented, man. That was that kind of
you barely know or something. He's like, maybe I'll find that reporter that always interviews you. He's like, Clark Kent.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is, maybe it's the writing that kind of solidified me as a fan of him. Not technically the character, but I'm kind of surprised they don't cast, like you said, older, bigger guys for the character. Also, Gene Hackman had hair, didn't he? They didn't shave his head until the very end. Wasn't it?
That was the whole thing you were.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, but that was like his hair, and then he did like one scene with like a sliding wig or whatever. So
yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, so that was kind of weird for me. Is that so now they're definitely embracing the he's bald now thing. So appreciate that, but I'm kind of surprised they don't use older people type of thing.
I mean, they used what's his name for Returns. Gosh, what's the guy that's from House of Cards? What was his name?
I've never watched that.
Yeah, I don't know. I never watched it either. The one that got canceled. I forgot his name. Anyway, but he was older too. But that was supposed to be the same Lex Luthor, I guess. So, but yeah, he had wigs in that one. So yeah, so this one kind of reminded me more of like Michael Rosenbaum from the Smallville.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I thought he was good. I thought he was.
And they displayed his smarts really well because I honestly loved the 1B 32C. I honestly loved that. I thought that was great for he just outthought him, and that's really it. And he's like brain above brawn and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it was. It was just really cool. It just seemed like something that Lex Luthor would do. So he just studied him for years, knew all his generic moves, and was able to beat the punch. And I was like, okay, that's great.
Yeah, I will say they made him more of a leader than in like he was more competent, I guess I want to say. Like in other iterations, like he was kind of like even the Zack Snyder one, he was kind of too like crazy. He was too unstable, and so he didn't really think out what he did. He was too maniacal. But yeah, this one he was like methodical, and they said he studied him for years, which I guess was 3 years. And he learned all his moves and everything, and he cloned him, whatever. So yeah, that was, I thought it came across like he was believable as being like a smart guy that kind of just was unhinged. I wish they would have gave him a little bit more motivation of like why he was doing what he was doing, but I guess he kind of said that at the end where he's like, "Oh, you guys making us obsolete or whatever."
Yeah, he just straight up admitted it. He's like, I'm not hiding anything. Yeah, he pretty much said, yeah, I'm jealous, but like. You're not from around here. You could destroy us all. He's like, I'm trying to save humanity. And he's like, I'm better than you. Yeah. Like, that was his whole motivation. I thought that was good. He just straight up said it.
And then earlier in the movie, he said when he was talking to the people, he was like, I'm scared. I think he actually was scared, like that's what his whole motivation was. He didn't want to lose, human society position, whatever, you know.
Yeah. And I must say, I'm actually surprised we didn't see Lex Luthor's suit in here because they used it in the beginning, and we'll touch on Ultraman in a minute. But they used it in the beginning with Ultraman, but that is 100% Lex Luthor's suit that he uses to fight Superman all the time.
Mm.
And even the toys that released, like I was at Target after the movie, and they had a 5-pack of figures, and it was like Metamorpho, which is weird. I don't remember him in the trailers. I only watched one, so it was like Metamorpho, Superman, Mr. Terrific. It didn't have Green Lantern now that I think about it, and then it also had Lex Luthor in his green suit. So I was shocked to not see him in the green suit.
Like in that armor suit, the Tony Stark suit.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
The hammer.
So he wears
whatever it was called.
Bolivia,
That was in Bolivia.
which
Bulgaria.
No, it's something like that. It was Bolivia, I thought.
No, it wasn't an actual country. It was a fake country.
No, I don't know.
Bolivia is a real country.
But I only know the countries on Risk. I don't know other than that.
But yeah,
Then underneath that suit was Ultraman, which right away I'm like, Ultraman as in from Earth 2 Ultraman? Earth 1 is
the name was
yeah, from like
familiar,
Earth 2.
Ultraman to me, but I thought Ultraman was its own comic book in DC. But
Well,
I didn't
yeah,
know much about
Ultraman does have, I think it's Marvel is Ultraman. They have like a pathetic Ultraman. It doesn't matter, but Ultraman is the Earth 2 it's either Earth 2 or Earth 3. I always mix them up. Or 2 or Earth 3 version of Superman where the Justice League is all villains. That's where like the evil Green Lantern comes from. Owlman, the Batman that's an owl instead, that was attached by an owl instead of a bat.
Oh.
So you don't know what is
No.
this thing? It's not the Justice League. Do you not know this whole team?
The Justice Gang? No, I've never. I don't really read too much DC. I think I've only read like some Flash and like old Batman ones, but yeah.
Oh, I thought like
And
everyone
Frank
knew them.
Miller
No,
stuff,
it's the Earth 2 Superman. Let me check. Earth 2 Super. I can't remember if it's Earth 2 or Earth 1.
I think the only I have like a couple of classic Superman comics, and then I have when Superman Unchained came out. I bought that one because it had that big fold out poster center action scene.
Oh yeah,
cool. It was like one of those comic books that like cost more, than normal because it was a bigger issue.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I never really heard of it. I mean, they have so many different variants: Earth 2, or Earth 4, 34,
Yeah,
37.
Oh yeah, so it is Earth 3. I think they recently kind of changed it, but Earth 3, she had the whole. It's like everything's flipped, so all the good guys are bad. Like there's an evil Flash, evil Green Lantern, the evil Wonder Woman, Owlman. Like so they have an animated movie about it. Like,
Yeah, I never watched any of the DC animated ones.
Really, those were like the best ones. Even when Marvel was cranking out amazing movies, DC was cranking out amazing animated stuff. Like Doomsday.
I know they did Doomsday, and I know they did the all the old ones, like the Joker one. What the heck is it called? I have the comic book of those. See, those I have. I have like the
Elseworlds or what?
Not Elseworlds. Like I have like the old Frank Miller ones that they based the movies off of, and I read Hush and all that stuff like back then.
Yeah, I read Hush.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's The Crime Syndicate. Yeah, it's actually an animated movie. You should watch it. It's really if you want a background. Yeah, and the thing is, the Ultraman in the movie wasn't Ultraman from the comics. So the Ultraman from the movie was technically Superboy. Like Superboy is a clone of Superman who's just happened to be a teenager.
Wow. I thought it was
so
Henry
they made
Cavill
them
at first when they showed him.
Honestly, so do I. I really did too. I had to stare really hard to see that it was like the current.
Like the way he looks like when he was Gerard on oh no, what do you call it? What's that show he was on? The Witcher? Like he kind of looked like that with black hair.
Yeah, absolutely. I had to stare really hard. I'm like, wait a minute, is he in this? But no, it was
weird.
It was in the eyebrows or something like that. But yeah. So as soon as they said Ultraman, I knew it wasn't that Ultraman. But I wondered because I didn't know if those they're not real boom tubes, like boom tubes are from Apocalypse, but the pocket dimension that Lex uses, I thought they were traveling through a different universe, like a different alternate universe. So I was like, maybe he picked up Ultraman, but I was like, why would Ultraman work with Lex? Like, Ultraman's a total a-hole. But
I thought it was just
Then-
like a Bizarro Superman kind of thing going on with, you know.
Yeah, Bizarro's like a failed clone, but Superboy's a clone. But he's a teen, so obviously he wasn't going to call him Superboy because it'd be obvious.
Yeah.
Which I think that would be a fine thing to follow up on. But yeah, being like the Ultraman, I think. But that was a cool little thing because Superman. The problem with Superman is that you need to find characters as strong as Superman to fight Superman.
Yeah.
So he obviously cloned him, and a lot of times when you clone them, they don't keep the same powers. Like Superboy, who I said is a clone of Superman, doesn't have Superman's powers. His power is actually telekinesis.
Yeah, and then
So-
I noticed when they were fighting that, like, he did the laser eye thing, like, earlier on. Like, I'm like, how did he do that? Like, how did he figure out how to do the eye thing? Like, and that was before they revealed he was a clone. So, like, he did it when he was wearing the suit. I'm like, that's weird. Like, this guy can do eye lightning.
Well, I think they're kind of teasing that it's just part of the suit.
Yeah.
You know? Because we didn't know it was Ultraman until he came out of it.
Well, and then you know, like, that was like an aha moment, like, when they revealed it was a clone, or when he took the mask off, whatever. That, like, oh, that's why he lost in the beginning of the movie, because he was fighting a Superman, you know? So,
Yeah.
Superman plus, like,
So yeah, it's good to have someone strong fight, like Zod, you know, characters like that. You got to have Superman fight somebody strong. So that ending fight was cool. You know, he dislocated his shoulder to throw him into a
Yeah,
black
why did it
hole,
glow?
and
His shoulder was glowing when it broke, or when it was dislocated.
no, I don't. I thought that too, but I think it was the bone popped out and it was a shift in light on his suit, so it just reflected more.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
It definitely looked like, I thought it was glowing too. I was like, that's weird. But then when it was a different camera angle, it was just him like popping the bone back in.
Like,
so
maybe his blood glows, but then no, because he was bleeding red earlier. So I don't know.
I think it was, they highlighted it so we'd catch the attention, but they highlighted it so much in CGI that it just looked like glowing.
Yeah, yeah. What did you think about the fight with the nanobot thing in his mouth and all that stuff?
Oh, the engineer.
Yeah, she was made out of the suits from Man of Steel.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a cool side character. I mean, you always got to have some smart robotic character and, you know, whatever. So, technologically advanced. And I always thought that they should focus more on Superman's weakness, like super hearing and the breathing thing. So, I was glad to see that because, like, if you have super hearing and someone surprises you with a shock grenade, it's going to stun the crap out of you because you hear stronger than everybody else. So, same with gas. Like, gas ought to work on Superman if he breathes it in. And I'm glad they at least brought it up in the movie. It's like, can he hold his breath for hours? And he's like, not if it pushes all the air out. So I was like, okay, that's what I'd like to see. It's like Superman isn't invincible. You know, he's susceptible to shock grenades and breathing. And, you know, while he can hold his breath for technically days on end, I'd like to at least see it a weakness in movies. So,
well, and then that suit that he made, the Ultraman suit, I guess the Lex suit, was like, had kryptonite in it. So
I don't think so. I don't remember that.
That's how he explained it when they introduced that Metamorpho guy. That's what he was using him for. He used them to make kryptonite. He said, I have a synthetic. He kept saying, like, oh, I have a way around that. He's like, when they said there's no more kryptonite on the planet, he's like, oh, yeah, I got a way around that.
Well, yeah, because that was Metamorpho making it, and Metamorpho made his own, but that was just straight up Ultraman in the suit because he didn't get kryptonite poisoning. He didn't act weak or anything. He just got his just got his butt
and
beat.
stuff, though.
Yeah, he just got beat up. If he gets punched hard enough, he'll bleed. You know. Technically, Superman isn't invulnerable. He has a millimeter thickness shield that goes around him.
Bounce off of him, obviously.
Yeah,
They did in this
the
movie.
comics explained it as like a force field and not impenetrable skin. So, and I was like, well, that's weird. But
yeah, I could have sworn they mentioned that the kryptonite thing was in the suit.
well, I mean, I missed a few things I could have, but I didn't get any of the weakness that he was like, oh, I can't stand, I'm weak. And I don't remember the camera focusing in on it. Again, I watched it on a pretty big screen, so I don't know if I missed it, but it certainly wasn't the central focus. And I think that was mostly like just a tease where he's like, oh, I got a way around it. And then they introduce Metamorpho, and then he just sits in the cage with him, staring at his kid,
Yeah.
Joey.
And DC still hasn't figured out how to do babies.
Yeah, the little goblin creature. I don't know.
I got away with it. I give it a pass because it was like an alien creature baby. It's not like I'm thinking about the Flash. Remember those horrible CGI?
Oh
babies?
yeah, they were horrible.
But yeah, I guess it was an alien baby, so like you got away with them looking like not realistic. So
Yeah, it's gonna look silly. So I'm like, whatever.
He's like holding them. I'm like, he's like, drop that baby. That whole sequence was pretty funny. I thought it went on a little long, but it was pretty good. I was like,
Yeah.
Lois and the dude are gonna get smashed by them. Like, why are they just standing there? Like, why didn't you just close the portal? But I guess he didn't know how to open it back up. That's why they had to leave it open. So
Yeah, they were on the other side. He didn't know what would happen.
and then the other star of the movie.
Would that be Crypto?
Yes.
Yeah, they did a lot with that dog. So again, it looked great, but it was like sometimes I was like, you're going overboard with the dog jokes, but it was good. You know, him attacking Mr. Terrific's T-spheres because it's just like, and then jumps on him and like chews on the ball. I was like, okay, that's funny, and
then they gave him squirrels to like torture him.
Yeah. Chasing super squirrels. So
I thought that was funny when Superman grabbed that squirrel and saved it.
Yeah, that's the thing where you're saying it's like so Superman, you know, saving the girls in the trailer type of thing, saving the little girl, like that's ultimate Superman thing. But then he swoops over and saves that squirrel. My wife leans right over and is like, I would have done that too. So that was again, they had things that just made Superman, and that was one of them.
I did like that they kind of use Crypto to like do things that Superman wouldn't, you know, like especially with Lex at the end.
Yeah, gave him the old Hulk treatment, huh? Yeah. So I thought that was kind of fun. He swoops right in, just bites him and slams him around, and it's like, okay, that's funny.
Yeah, I like that. I like the dog. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie. So they could have used them through the whole movie, but yeah. I was like, oh no, he was the dog, and then like she put the nano things over his face. I'm like, oh no. And Lois is like, you have a dog?
Yeah, and just Superman looking for the dog was awesome. Like he went back to after his house gets broken into and destroyed, and he's just like, he busts into Lex Luthor's office, which was awesome. Blows the guy in the chair, and he's just like, "Where's my dog?" And I'm like, "Yeah," because that's what I would do. Is like, "Where the hell's my dog?" Like, I didn't care what was going on. You destroyed all my robots. Where's my dog at? So that was really cool.
What about the robots? What do you think about the robots?
Very James Gunny, I'll say. You know, it's silly. They're there for comedic relief, so Superman could be more serious, and they definitely made me laugh. Where it's like, if I had feelings, I would care, and I was like, that's funny. So,
we make sure he doesn't die, like, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So they're definitely there.
I couldn't get over hearing K2 though, so I kind of wish they didn't use Alan Tudyk because I just kept hearing K2SO.
The whole movie, I was just thinking that voice seems somewhat familiar, but I was so entrenched with the movie I didn't think about it. And then right at the end, my wife leans over to me and is like, "That's Alan Tudyk." I was like, "Oh my god, it is!" Like it just clicked the entire movie. So I'm glad I didn't realize it right away. I
didn't even know he had anything to do with this movie, but then I after like the first scene when he's like, "Oh, you want to hear the recording of your parents," you know, and then I leaned over to my daughter. I'm like, "It's K2." She's like, "Yeah."
I didn't even realize it. It's one of those where Alan always plays like this other 3D character, you know, some other character. He's
just every robot now.
Oh, yeah, he's just every robot. So I'm glad I didn't catch it right away because that probably would have drove me crazy.
I know. I hate doing that, like in movies, because I'm always like, that's this person, that's that person. And like my daughter hates when I do that. She's like, don't tell me until after the movie's over.
Yeah.
Because then it just ruins it for her. Like, Bradley Cooper, I didn't realize he was going to be in there either. He was the dad.
Yeah, neither did I. I'm glad I used to look up cast list, but that would lead to spoilers. So that's a big thing too, is I see all sorts of people like, oh, I looked up the cast list for Doctor Strange and there's this. I was like, those are spoilers, man. Yeah. Like, even if they don't list the name, those are spoilers. You know, the actor that plays Black Bolt, if he appears in Doctor Strange, he's probably going to play Black Bolt. Yeah. So yeah, that's one of my rules of no spoilers. So.
Yeah, I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah, I didn't know
why did they use Bradley Cooper? That was a tiny role. And then they're speaking a different language. It was kind of weird. You know?
Yeah. And then, of course, they used whatever the actor's name is for Supergirl. Like, I was shocked by that, too.
Who was that? I didn't recognize who it was.
She's in the Game of Thrones, the second Game of Thrones show. Something Dragon, whatever it is. But yeah, she's like one of those. But yeah, so I seen her in the, what is it? Game of Thrones and Rise of the Dragon? I don't know. But
the newer.
But regardless,
I didn't watch that.
Yeah, but regardless, she I had no idea she was going to be in it. Never seen any talk. Like I said, I avoid a lot of stuff online so I can enjoy a movie and be surprised instead of sitting there waiting the whole time. Like, when's
See, and
Supergirl going to show up?
that's why I wanted to watch it this weekend, because I'm like, if I wait, then I'm going to start seeing this stuff trickle here and there, and
Yeah. Oh,
So,
yeah,
I had no idea
absolutely.
they were gonna show Supergirl, and then like she walks in all drunk, and like, which was another language that happened at the end.
Yeah, that did have a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a callback to the comics where she is a teenager. She's like 17 or 19 or something like that. Um, even though she's his older cousin, because he was a baby when she was whatever, 17, 19, 23. Well, she's drunk, so they may make her a little older. So Clark or Kal-El was a baby, but when she got sent off planet, she went through a time rift and she appeared 30 years later. So that's why Kal-El is older than her now, but she's still like, I'm older than you. So
I don't remember the Supergirl movie that much. I watched it when I was a kid, but I don't really remember very much. It probably did vary from the comics.
Yeah, Smallville. My favorite superhero story is the Apocalypse one. I can't remember the actor, but they even made an animated movie out of it. Like, you got to watch the animated stuff, man. It's Superman and Batman Apocalypse is the name of the animated movie. The comic book is named something else. Even though I own it, I'm too lazy to stand up and look at my bookcase. But that's like one of the best Superman and Superman Batman stories I've ever read. It's just great art, great apocalypse stuff. They turned it into an animated movie, so I think you ought to dig in some DC animated. Like, watch the crime.
I actually own a lot of them. I just never watched them. Like, we have like a family library for streaming, and so like anytime somebody, like my sister, buys something or I buy something digital, it goes to all of us. We have it linked.
Oh, nice.
But then there's a lot on HBO Max too. So
yeah, a lot of that. HBO Max is dumb. They keep taking away and putting stuff on, but really look for I think it's just called The Syndicate or Crime Syndicate or something like that. It'll have Ultraman on there, so you get to know those people. I'm sure that's got to be a future story. I mean, those characters are too big to not use.
If it wasn't in Teen Titans Go, I don't know who the character was. That's only animated.
The Apocalypse. The Apocalypse story is just awesome. It's just big battles throughout, and Apocalypse is one of my favorite characters, so I was like, that's cool.
I'm really curious, like, going forward, like how...
Darkseid.
I know, you kept saying Apocalypse. I'm like, you mean Darkseid?
His planet is Apocalypse, and the animated show is called, animated movie is called Apocalypse. So, yeah, he fights Darkseid in it.
I'll just picture Oscar Isaac in there. This is Apocalypse.
Yeah, you should like DC animated.
Yeah, I'll have to check some out when I have nothing else to watch. Like, I'll just pop one in. Or not pop one in, I'll just put it on stream. Like, I have VHS tapes to put in there.
Yeah, like if your daughter wants to maybe learn something slightly more about Supergirl, like definitely at least watch that one.
I just assumed that all the DC ones were all like mature. That's why I never really watched them, and I didn't want them to be on. And like the Harley Quinn stuff and all that.
Yeah, no. These are in the era where it was like they're competing with Marvel animated. They're all PG-13, PG even type of thing. So they might get punched in the face and bleed at the mouth, but the early Marvel and DC stuff didn't really swear at all. It was big to say that shit. Yeah. So, but now it's like a common word in there, and it's annoying. That's the thing.
The last movie DC one I watched was probably Mask of the Phantasm way back when.
I didn't even watch that one. I've never liked that animation style, so I was never a fan of that
Batman animated series.
The animated series.
I can't watch it now. I tried rewatching it again. I'm like, oh, this is so slow.
Yeah. It's good. It added a lot to the mythos and all that other stuff. So
Batman Beyond,
I give it a star.
I'm just curious how they're going to tie in Batman to this, and I hope they do. But it'll be
He's rebuilding the whole thing. I mean, I don't think they're going to use Robert Pattinson.
No, it's going to be. They already said that's going to be completely separate. So yeah, I want to see not like George Clooney Batman ish. Like I want it to be lighter and not so dark. But like I said, you can still do the same stories. But
he's Batman. I feel like he's got to be dark. Like,
yeah, but not like listen to Nirvana with the emo makeup.
We already talked about Pattinson's Batman.
That's what's funny. Is like our first, I like that too, is us arguing about the Batman, and then we both like Superman now that James Gunn is taking over.
Yeah, like I said, it's got negatives for James Gunn, but it has positives for James Gunn. I couldn't ignore them at all, but they're there. But there's a lot of positives.
Yeah, definitely one I'm gonna end up watching repeatedly. So
What did you think of the after credit scenes?
I kind of got spoiled because I looked up to see if there were after credit scenes. I didn't really get spoiled, but it said like they're not really like anything like future, hinting. They were just like nice little quiet scenes. But
Yeah, I thought they were stupid as hell. Like, if you're going to do after credit scenes, make them mean something. Like, the mid credit scene was it was reminiscent of a comic book cover. So okay, cool, you get a
Yeah.
little respect out of that. That's worth a mid credit scene so comic book fans can say, "Hey, that's from Grant Morrison. That's awesome." It's just Superman, Crypto sitting on the moon,
Yeah.
very
Which
like I
was
said,
a poster they
iconic.
did for the movie. It was one of the
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then the other one is just Mr. Terrific and Superman staring at a crack in the building, blaming someone else,
which I mean,
thinking
I get it. Like
dumb. Tease something, man.
I get if you think it's dumb, but like for me, watching that whole sequence when they're closing the rift, I'm like, is it really gonna align properly? And so seeing that scene at the end, I'm like, nope, it didn't. That was so satisfying to see that.
Yeah, it's all shit. That whole city's ruined. Like Lex ruined everything there. So
I'll have to
what I did enjoy about that void split is it always drives me crazy when there's cracks in the water because it empty out the whole river.
Mhm.
I like when the pocket universe split, it created a wall for the river so the river wouldn't constantly flow in. It popped up some, and I'm like, okay, finally someone did that because every time something happens, like there's a big hole in the Thames River in Europe or whatever, it just I was like, that's going to empty out the whole thing and flow in from the ocean, right? Like something crazy. So I'm glad it had a wall. It had a little temporary wall. So that was a good idea. I'm glad that someone paid attention to.
Yeah, I mean, and then it was like interdimensional rift, so it's not like it was tearing through the fabric of space and not actually through the water. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, and it was creating a wall in the water. Whatever. I was happy with it.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, to not use a post-credit scene to tease any aspect of a future movie, to me, is just unforgivable. Like, you say you're creating a DC universe. Yeah, I'm sorry, but Marvel created the post-credit scene, and I've been to the theater for 99.9% of the movies. The only one I didn't go to the theater for was the Black Widow movie, and that's because it came out same day as streaming, and I wasn't going to spend money in the theater if I got it for free in streaming. So that's the only reason. Otherwise, I am batting almost, you might as well round up. You can't count COVID. I'm batting 100% on Marvel movies from day one. Like, not Blade. I wasn't old enough for that one yet, but Iron Man from day one on. I was X-Men, everything. I was rocking it in theater. So, but they created the after credit scene. So if you're going to do it, and movies have been doing this a lot lately, where the after credit scene have just sucked. They add nothing to any future movies. They tease nothing.
Well,
It's making me
Avengers,
kind
they
of
were
mad.
just eating at the end, which was just them like, okay, now they're just relaxing, So
Yeah. Which, I mean, they mentioned shawarma a bunch, and then they ate shawarma, and I was like, okay, that's funny.
Which I love shawarma.
Yeah, but this I've never had it. I don't know.
Oh, it's good. Yeah.
This is the first movie of a DC universe. Cap or Iron Man teased Thor in the second movie. So I can't remember the first one. Oh, the first one was teasing the Avengers. The second one teased Thor. So, and then it teased Captain America, all that stuff. Like, they created what to expect for the next movie.
Was there
And
one at the end
then
of the first
they
Iron Man?
just do.
Oh yeah, Nick Fury walks in, huh? At the end.
Yeah, it's just teasing the Avengers Initiative
Yeah.
because they made 2 Iron Man movies before they made the Thor movie.
Well,
And then they
the
kind of
Hulk-
carried on.
The one at the Hulk, they had Tony walk in at the end, talking to
Yeah.
Thunderbolt. Yeah. But I mean, the first movie that had after credit scene was actually Masters of the Universe.
I think I heard that. What was it?
Because Skeletor seemingly dies in the movie, and then at the end, like he pops his face out of the water. It's just like, "I'll get you next time, He-Man," and then the movie ends.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly, really I still love that 80s cheesy Masters of the Universe movie. I understand it was just, people said it was terrible, but it just has that classic feel for me where it really is like 80s cringe, but it's just good still,
Being a diehard
Skeletor's cool.
He-Man fan when I was a kid, because I was obsessed with it and had every toy. That movie was a little bit like, what did they change the outfits? But they tried to make it more realistic,
sure,
right? Instead of
everything.
having it in his actual costume.
As a kid, as a kid watching it, I didn't have all the toys like that. I was more of a X-Men Ninja Turtles. But as a kid, I was like, okay, I probably watched it like as a teenager, not even like a young kid. I watched it, I was like, okay, that was good. But as anybody who enjoys He-Man, I could understand being, super mad at you. That doesn't look like He-Man. Who the heck is that? What's this weird crypto alien guy?
He was. I think Dolph Lundgren was great at as He-Man. He was He-Man and he was the Punisher. That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he played the Punisher.
I think it's just that Skeletor. I think they did really well with Skeletor.
The Skeletor with the makeup, I thought that was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he just fit Skeletor, and then he turned into like a big crazy person. And maybe we ought to do He-Man because I love the Kevin Smith animated series. I think you had what?
I didn't watch that season.
Dude. Oh my gosh, man. I hate the internet. I hate the internet so bad because they shat all over Kevin Smith's first series, and it's like, the story isn't over. It's a 2-part story. Don't be mad that like Superman gets locked up because the point is to save him, to free him so he could do more crazy stuff in the second one. And he does. Like, it makes me so mad. And it was universally liked, but a lot of people just refused to watch the second series.
I watched it twice. I watched the first season twice. I watched it the first time and I couldn't get through it because I was like, this is just them walking, Tila and Evil Lynn having a conversation. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like just do something, show. And then Cyclops had like his weird cult. But then I watched it again. I was showing my daughter. I think we got through the whole first season. I'm not too sure. Yeah, we did. I think we did get through the first season.
Oh, the second one goes even crazier.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance to get. There's so much stuff we were watching.
Yeah, you need to watch DC animated movies, and you need to finish the He-Man series because it's amazing. The animation is good. Kevin Smith does the fights well, the music well. It's an amazing series, and I hate the internet for shatting all over it and pretty much giving Kevin Smith depression because he was so excited about it, and then people crapped all over it, and he was just like, I can't deal with this.
His Green Lantern run, people didn't like his Green Lantern run either. I'm like,
no, it wasn't Green Lantern. It was Green. Or you mean the Green Lantern or the other one Kevin Smith did?
No, he wrote the comic series for a while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he penned it for a while. Yeah, and they gave him stuff for that one too. I love Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith's one of my favorites.
He's a super nerd, man. He's fantastic. So, and I hate that fans are driving him into depression where he pulls away from the things that he loves. Yeah. So and again, I hate the internet. I hate those people. So they're just ruining everything.
Well, he had a bunch of people hating on Superman being critical during the trailers. So, but it'd be curious to see this week, like what the take is and all that stuff.
They were saying it was already breaking records, and it was only Friday. Like, it was only Saturday. They were like already breaking records. I'm like, the weekend isn't even over, man.
It was so hard to get tickets this weekend, and it was hard to get in for, like I said, for Jurassic World too. Like, I'm going to see that this evening. Because I'm like, we were so hard. We wanted to watch both movies, and every time we went, it was like, okay, sold out. Only thing left was like the front row. I'm like, I'm not sitting that close up.
No, I sat there once before, and I got
chairs there. Just don't put chairs there. No one's gonna sit there.
Yeah, squeezing them in.
And we have like these big theaters that are the Cine XLs, and like it's like a huge auditorium where there's like a center seating that's like a normal theater, and then you have more extended seating to the left and more to the right, and then you have a whole front row like an orchestra pit kind of thing. I'm like, that's too close for that giant IMAX screen.
Yeah, I've seen some of them before. I get like car sick.
Yeah, I watched one movie like in the front row once. It was Mel Gibson Payback. I don't know why we watched that movie. And like that movie was so like shaky and grainy, and now we were sitting in the front. I'm like, I got like my eyes hurt after. I think that's why I wear glasses now. We're watching that movie.
My neck hurts. Everything hurts.
Yeah, I like this one. Did you? Okay, question. In Superman, when you watched it, was it really loud? There was something with the audio mix that was kind of odd. I don't know if it's just our theater.
No, sometimes movies are quiet for me, so this one I felt was pretty good. I wasn't like cringing at. It was well balanced. The loud scenes weren't too loud, and the quiet scenes were loud enough.
You could definitely hear the dialogue. I think that's what stuck out to us. Was like there wasn't any whispering that we couldn't hear. So I don't know if they just had ours cranked up, but it was, my daughter was like complaining like, oh, it's really loud. I'm like, well, it's because we've been watching like kids movies, and I think those aren't as loud. Like, Lilo and Stitch
and honestly.
And stuff like that.
Sometimes it's hard for me to hear movies because most of the time I go to the cinema now, I go to movies with closed captioning, aka open captioning. So I watch it. I use it all the time, and I even go to the first. It's usually It's at AMC. Is usually the earliest showing, like around 11 a.m. or something like that. They'll have open, and you usually get less people there because they don't want to see the captioning. Oh yeah, it depends on the theater. Cinemark doesn't do it, but AMC near us definitely does it all the time. So
yeah, we hardly ever
it might
go to
not be.
AMC's.
A lot of times they use some sort of third-party screen that has the word scroll across it, but they do definitely have some movies with open captioning, like on-screen captioning. And I know we watched Wakanda Forever, and I would not be able to understand that movie at all if it wasn't for the closed captioning. So, like, that's the only thing that saved. I love that movie, but I'm just terrible. Like, sometimes I have a hard time hearing Steven. I'm just terrible at accents. I have a hard time understanding people from Tennessee. So,
I just watched
but
that
yeah,
again.
Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, we started. Oh, you know what? I gotta finish Ironheart. Man, I just watched one episode. We really got to get back into that too. Yeah, because we watched Black Panther, and that's why my whole topic the other day. I was talking about Black Panther because we watched both of them last week before we started watching Ironheart. I was like, well, I got to remember part two because I think I was kind of falling asleep because we watched it late when we watched it. But I remember I liked it. But yeah, I liked it really a lot the second time. So.
You don't even get me started on Ironheart. Did you finish it?
No, I just watched first one episode. That's on. I'm one episode in. So.
Did you get the end spoiled?
No, I don't know anything.
Watch that first.
So.
Leave this and go finish because you're gonna get it spoiled, man. Like there's huge things that happen at the end.
I did kind of see something, but about the villain, yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea. And when because I watched it after it finished, well, I guess it released in 3 episodes, but it took me like 2 days to watch it. And I had no idea. I don't want to get started on it because I'll talk about it because I loved Ironheart. Yeah, yeah. I loved Ironheart, and I think it might be my favorite of the streaming shows. I mean, Loki's good. Loki's really good because it's the most impactful for the MCU, and that's why it's my favorite. But Ironheart was great, mix of magic and technology. The ending, that you just mentioned, it has cool battles.
I
what the hero decides. Yeah, well, you got to rank them still, but I mean, like, some of them were okay. Like She-Hulk was.
I even liked WandaVision a lot. So, like, I don't know. And then you had the
they were just okay, honestly. And most of them, I liked Loki because it was most impactful, but most of them are just okay to me. So. But this one was just general. Yeah, Moon Knight was all around good. Yeah, that was good. But I think Ironheart was really, really good. It's going to be hard to beat Loki, but I don't rewatch Loki because it's so long and sometimes it's slow. And obviously, I know the ending, and it's emotionally powerful, especially the second season. It's really good. But Ironheart is shorter and just more action-packed, and I like the decisions the hero make because the heroes aren't perfect. I like when heroes have a little bit of flaws in them, and like what she does isn't perfect. So I just loved it. The battles, the fights, and everything. The twist, what it could mean for the future of MCU. I don't want to get into it because we're talking Superman.
So let's get back to Superman, but keeping it on TV shows. So, like, does Peacemaker count then?
Yeah, James Gunn said that's part of the universe.
Okay, so maybe I'll watch that just to get what that character is. So, I mean, does Suicide Squad count then too?
I think it's one of those. Yeah, it sort of counts because they're using Rick Flag, which is the same character type of thing. So they definitely reference it, not in Superman, but they reference it like in Peacemaker. So that kind of adjacently makes it canon type of thing. So I think if it's done by James Gunn, then it counts. So that'd be
it does kind of thing.
Yeah, like they may not reference it all the time and stuff like that, but they still reference it, and it's made by James Gunn, so he probably considers it canon. And he might just bring Polka Dot Man back and just say, "See, it matters. Whatever, try and stop me." So
that's true.
He can make it work for sure. But Peacemaker, I loved it because, like I said, I'm a somewhat fan of John Cena. And to see him in this role, from the squeaky clean John Cena to the super raunchy character that just kills people and swears, it definitely don't get around the kid because there's a lot of swearing and stuff like that. The other characters are funny. His eagle sidekick is funny.
John Cena been squeaky clean? I've seen him
what do you mean? Wrestling, he's like
so many movies where he's like cussing and naked and running around doing
Yeah, and that's
raunchy
what
things.
makes it so. That's what makes it so good to me because in WWE, he was the lifetime baby face, and all the super. Never said a bad word in his life, type of thing. And then you see him in these movies, and it's so raunchy and it's so shocking, is what makes it funny.
I didn't know. I'm not a wrestling person, so that's why I didn't know that.
Oh, he's like the cleanest baby face in history, type of thing. So it was so funny. So to me, it's hilarious to see him in something that was never like his wrestling character.
Interesting. So yeah, I guess we'll see what comes out next from the DCU.
Well, and that's the thing. Peacemaker 2 is coming out this year, if not relatively soon. So I'm surprised they didn't tease any more of that in the after credits. So
They probably didn't want to give too much away without, painting themselves in a corner. I think they probably learned their lesson, with the Snyderverse movies. Trying to do too much at once and hinting this thing that never happened, and then Superman shows up at the end of Black Adam and for nothing.
Yeah, right. I'm going to shake up the whole universe. No, you're not. Like nothing happened. The whole universe fell apart, actually.
Yeah, and then looking for those cubes that didn't really make any sense, and
August 21st is when the next season of Peacemaker comes out. So it's just a little over a month away.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. Well, yeah.
So yeah, you got homework. You got to watch Ironheart. Then you got to watch some DC animated stuff. You got to watch Peacemaker. So you got to knock some stuff out, man.
Revelation.
Yeah, and Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, but yeah. After I watch Jurassic World, Rebirth.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds fun. I'm glad you'll be able to. I was hoping to squeeze that in today, but I didn't realize you didn't have time to watch it.
Yeah,
or couldn't watch it.
Yeah, it's been a great year for movies so far. It's we got Fantastic Four coming out, which is on Monopoly Go now, right? You want to get back in?
Yeah, well, I already deleted that game. I'm not downloading it again. It certainly won't be
I've been heisting you over.
Fantastic.
Again, so.
Go ahead and take it.
So yeah, no, the Fantastic Four is coming out, and then you got I missed Thunderbolts. I didn't get to watch that one.
Oh really?
Yeah,
that's coming to streaming.
Yeah, we had got tickets, and then we couldn't end up going that day. We had to cancel, and we just never went back. So I didn't get to see the cool spoiler at the end, with the name change thing. But
oh yeah,
I saw it online. So.
That's again, a lot of people love that movie. I thought it was good, but again, just me. I need big battles at the end. So, and it had an emotional ending. Don't get me wrong; it was emotional. It was powerful and deep meaning for a lot of people, including myself. But it was like, I want some fights, man. So, but yeah, this year is pretty good for movies. Like it's Fantastic Four. The Naked Gun reboot comes out on it.
I didn't watch that one. I wanted to watch it, but
no, I'm mad that it's not related to Cobra Kai. So I'm like,
that's why we were trying to get into Cobra Kai and trying to finish. So I was like, well, you gotta watch it before the movie, but apparently it has nothing to do with it. So
yeah, I was really excided. So
maybe
we had to do like a movie.
Yeah, maybe there's like a scene with him with the family, but apparently not. Yeah.
I don't know. I was legitimately mad because I'm like, I always like the idea of a streaming show moving into a movie. Like that's what I keep wishing. That's what I'm happy Mandalorian's doing. Like, or a book moving into a movie.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, these kids have done this series for like 8 years. They deserve a big movie. And then it's like, oh no, Daniel LaRusso's just coming back, and so is Jackie Chan. I'm like, oh, I mean, the kid looks good,
and they
but
put a brand new character in there.
Yeah, the younger audience has built to know all these other characters. So, and you're not going to put them in a movie. So I was kind of upset by that, and I was not going to go to the theater.
I didn't hear very much about that movie, so I think it did kind of throw most of the fans of. I mean, you're riding off the success of the show that was really popular, and kind of dropped the ball. But
yeah, you don't make a movie after a very popular show and then not make it about the show. So I'll just watch it streaming.
Yeah, that's probably going to be on something pretty soon here. But yeah, so cool. I'm glad we got to talk about Superman. I wanted to, before since it was fresh, we just watched it yesterday. So
yeah, same. So, but yeah, good talk. Another good. I like that too. Yeah. So it's still, I rate it like like I said, 7.8, 7.9 out of 10 type of thing. It's a lot of good things. Some real things that are just kind of like, why, James Gunn, why? But
I give it like an 8.5, but it might go up if I rewatch it and find more things I like. So But
Yeah, this is definitely going to be. I might go to the theater a second time to watch this if my other kids can't, because they were supposed to watch it too, and I don't know if they had a chance. So it's one of those that it's like it's a maybe, but probably not, because I got to be like, okay, in 2 weeks is Fantastic Four, so I got to save money for that. So
yeah, yep.
So all right, good talk. I think that kind of wraps up for for this. I like that too. We'll have to find another one, whether it's future movie talk or maybe Steven wants to talk about soccer and you guys can talk to him about that. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. And yeah, we'll try to do some more of these in the future, because there's plenty of non-Star Wars content that we can go through.
Yeah. So, all right, like Superman says, up and at them.
Did he say that?
Goodbye, everybody.
Where's my dog?
Up and at them. Up and at them. Yeah, where's my dog?
Where's my dog?
So, all right, good talk. We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
All right.
I like F. I